Got my cat with me here today. Say hi to Brella. Sheila, I really appreciate this comment. This was left on a recording that I had made of when I was with my narcissistic ex, who I was with for 6.5 years. This recording was made a long time ago. But yeah, it was insane. But how did I survive it? I like that question for a couple of reasons. First off, it really does highlight that, yes, this is actually abusive and it is something you have to endure. And yes, I am a survivor of narcissistic abuse. Oftentimes there's that misconception that if you weren't physically harmed, if you didn't have like a bruise on your skin that was showing, then you weren't harmed, which is wholly inaccurate. And I think that's just so important for everyone to understand. When you're in these narcissistically abusive relationships, you really have to learn how to survive every single day. And this is why it's so hard to recover from, because oftentimes what is happening is you are constantly getting traumatized on a daily basis, and your mind actually has trouble processing all of that trauma that you're enduring. In fact, the memories and the incidences and the events that happen from these traumatizing events get stored in your brain in a different place than the rest of your memories get stored. This is actual scientific data that has recently come out. It gets stored, those traumatic events get stored in the area of your brain as the same place as your present day memories. So that's why so many of us, after we have left these really traumatizing experiences, still feel like we get triggered all the time. We feel like we're still in those kinds of relationships, even though it's been years and years and years since that has passed. But while you're in it, you're usually, in my particular instance, on the recordings that I posted of myself, you can hear that my freeze and my fawning response are kicked in high gear. For me in that relationship, that's how I survived, was through those trauma responses where I just froze on what he was saying. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that like that. And then the fawning response, you're right, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. This is things that you learn when you're being abused, of how to survive in the moment. Are they healthy? Absolutely not. But the relationship is not healthy. But what I think is important to understand is that our trauma responses, whether it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, or I think there's some others out there that I've heard people refer to, those are the standard ones. Those are your nervous system's way to secure yourself, that protects you. So it's not like we need to fight against having a trauma response, but being able to recognize that we do have a trauma response. And if our trauma response is getting triggered all the time by the person we're in a relationship with, that is not good. But another reason why I really like the question around being, how did I survive this, is because I definitely got to some of the darkest places in my mind that I have ever been in my entire life. Once I started realizing that I was having those kinds of thoughts while I was in this relationship, that's where I decided to say, hold on, your life is worth saving, and no one's going to come save you on a white horse and get you out of the situation. You have to save yourself. And I started having this mantra in my head of, you've got to be your own hero, be your own hero, be your own hero. And I just kept repeating that to myself on a daily basis. I had to actively convince myself every single day that my life was worth saving, and that it was time that I saved it as if it were an emergency situation. Having that realization, having those thoughts, are what eventually gave me enough strength to get out of that relationship.